So far, various attempts at finding a lasting solution has not stemmed the tide of terrorism in Nigeria perpetrated by the radical Islamic sect Boko Haram. Military engagements are struggling to match the firepower of the insurgents, yielding fragile results. Calls for negotiation and dialogue have yielded very little. In the meantime, Boko Haram, rising through the ranks of radical international terrorism groups, have become more audacious in their operations. Experts on international affairs in the UK reiterate the arguments on poverty and illiteracy in northeast Nigeria as a catalyst for insurgency. Richard Dowden, director of the Royal African Society, explains some of these dynamics.
I think Boko Haram's on a different scale to what happened in the Delta. I mean, this seems to me to be something from outside.
And the struggle for political power.
Professor Paul Collier of Oxford University, who is away from the UK, joins the conversation with Channels Television via Skype.
So I think it's a combination of internal politics in Nigeria interacting with an external, well-financed ideological agenda. And all that in a region where young men are poor, have very few options, and the violence itself is reducing the legitimate options that they face.
Among the plethora of recommendations, a broad-based plan for economic regeneration in northern Nigeria, which the federal government has dubbed the Marshall Plan, tops the chart. Idle minds must be put to good use. The North must shed its toga of poverty and illiteracy. But money is only one part of the solution, and the success of a Marshall Plan depends on the political structures in place to manage it.
We've seen, for example, in Iraq, that democracy hasn't produced leaders who talk or live unity. On the contrary, it's produced highly divisive leaders. So a democratic politics in the North is not enough to produce an inclusive society. We need leaders who actually live and talk inclusion.
So that's why I've always thought Marshall Plan in Africa generally, no, you need to build up the capacities of the people, not just the infrastructure. So I think just throwing a whole lot of money at it certainly wouldn't work, though long-term investment in health, in education, in infrastructure, roads, and then encouraging businesses to move there, to create jobs. I mean, that's the job of government. And it's a long-term process.
Senior lecturer from the London Metropolitan University, Dr. Bisi Adewale, believes dialogue is inevitable.
These are the ways ahead. Strong leadership with focus. A government who knows what it's doing. We need diplomacy. We need to equip our military. We need constant communication.
Security takes the largest chunk of the Nigerian budget. The amount runs into billions of dollars. Doris Okenwa, Channels Television News, London.